This meditation is on Psalm 23, which is one of the most comforting scriptures in my opinion. We often hear it read at funerals because we hear about a God who is with us through all things. I'm going to read through line by line and give us some moments of visualization and interpretation, some meditations to carry with us throughout this week. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Shepherds in the ancient world were common. They were people who lived close to the earth and close to animals. People who were familiar with the rhythms of creation. This is the image of God we begin with. A God who resides among ordinary things. A humble guide who lives outside and sleeps under the stars. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. In other words, I am lacking nothing. I will not fail. I will not disappear. I will not have scarcity. With God, I have enough. I am enough. I ordered a pack of 50 different vegetable seeds this week from a local farmer. This is partially because of food scarcity setting in, and partially because of my survival instincts that are kicking in hardcore this week. Partially because I got a little bored on the internet, and partially because I wanted to enjoy the beginning of springtime and the beauty of the earth. And partially because I just needed a distraction from the constant stream of news and panic. And after I ordered the 50 different vegetable seeds, I worried that it was naive to take a break from worrying and to get my hands in the dirt. And then I read this next line of Psalm 23. God makes me lie down in green pastures. God leads me beside still waters. God restores my soul. And I heard God say, go outside and enjoy the spring. Allow me to lead you to green pastures and beside still waters. Let me restore your soul. Going outside is something we're still able to do. Going outside to just sit or to garden or to go on a prayer walk with no agenda or destination. To allow God to lead. And then the psalm says, God leads me in right paths for God's name's sake. In other words, enjoying the world and connecting to the beauty of creation is not only good for our mental and spiritual health, but it is also for God's sake. God leads me in right paths for God's name's sake. It is pleasing to God for us to get outside, to connect with something other than the news. God makes me lie down in green pastures. God leads me beside still waters. God restores my soul. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. And the text turns personal here. The psalmist is no longer describing what God does, but speaking directly to God. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, you are with me. Rather than, you lead me through dark valleys. Do you see the difference? This is a good moment to dispel some harmful theology. God did not give us the coronavirus. God does not make us endure suffering or cause plagues or war or death, but rather, God uses these moments to bring life and to bring hope and to rebuild. God is with us through these things. And so many people are calling for transformation. We are seeing that our healthcare system is broken, that it makes the already vulnerable more vulnerable because it is designed to privilege money over people, but it doesn't have to be this way. We could call for transformation. We are in a moment of death and collapse. All of the sudden, it feels like the rug is pulled out from under us, and we grieve. We grieve and we feel the threat of death to our society. And God is with us. Through death, our faith gives us the promise of new life. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. In this image, the shepherd brings us to a meal, a table set, nourishment in the presence of enemies. I view the mention of enemies here as an invitation to release whatever is unresolved in our hearts and to hand it over to God during this time. For those grudges we have or hurt feelings, could we turn to forgiveness? Could we let the enormity of this moment be an emotional restart? A pause button, an unplug and replug? It's like the whole world just got a big timeout. And there is so much time for reflection, for spiritual inventory, for whatever is unresolved in our hearts, for us to release it and to hand it over to God, to let go, to let go. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. God blesses us and protects us. God pours healing love onto us and anoints us for the journey ahead. If I were with you right now, I would anoint your head with oil, just as the psalm says that God does. I would anoint your head with oil for abundance and for nourishment and for love. I hope that we can allow this love of God to pour into us and to know this love as ours. And the last line of Psalm 23, surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord my whole life long. I picture goodness and mercy following me, or literally chasing us down every single day. Amidst all of these unknowns, all of the fear, we are being pursued by goodness and by beauty and by love, by compassion. Perhaps all we need to do is stop in our tracks and turn around and look for goodness and mercy. What hopeful moments are you seeing? I'm creating a collection because I need it. Stories people share with me where they see hope or the goodness of humanity shining through this pandemic moment. And I am seeing them when I look for it. And at the top of my list this week is the recent organization of local Middletown restaurants to create packageable meals for hungry families locally without cost this weekend. This was organized in just the last few days. People sharing, people saying, we have enough for everyone. What would it be like if we reorganized our society in the spirit of sharing rather than greed? What can this moment teach us? And the psalm closes, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord my whole life long. We enter into the realm of God wherever we are, and God remains with us through all things never abandoning us. Your life is a house of God, a place of worship, an occasion to give thanks and praise. Let us do our best in the midst of this wild journey to abide in God this week. Amen.